Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. In a major story, bloodbath in Kano as female bomber's suicide strike leaves 6 people dead at the State Polytechnic. Also in this program, federal government confirms 11 dead in Potiskum bombed mosque attack. Impeached Adamawa Governor Murtala Nyako describes plan by the state government to probe him over 82 billion naira debt profile as ridiculous. And outside Nigeria, Israeli airstrike claims 17 lives, injures over 200 as Gaza conflict worsens.
Business news tonight. Microsoft drops bombshell, says 25 million naira Nigerians automated teller machine cards prone to hacking by July 2015.
And in sport news tonight, FIFA Vice President Giulio Grondona dies at 82.
Now the details. The police have confirmed that a female suicide bomber detonated the bomb that killed at least 6 people on the campus of the Kano State Polytechnic. Police Commissioner Aderele Shinaba told journalists at the bomb scene that efforts are on to check the new tactics adopted by insurgents who have devised a means of using female suicide bombers.
Well, the general assessment is that we are in very difficult times, a situation where we have a new dimension of suicide bombing, and this one that happened here at the administrative block of the Kano State Polytechnic on Bayero University Kano Road, which just occurred some few moments ago. It calls for vigilance on the part of each and every one of us, because we have tried as much as possible for deployment of policemen everywhere. You can see this spot, that's where we have our police checkpoint. Because what we require most now is intelligence. Intelligence, vigilance on the part of everybody. It is a fight for all of us. And even where you have policemen, military men all over the place, I think we still require informations as well as vigilance on the part of each and every one of us to ensure that, because a situation where somebody is carrying explosives on the body, when you look at the person, what is the business of such a person in this type of a school where people are coming to check the results of NYC deployment? That's the graduates of this school who are going for batch A NYC. So when you are around that place, when you see somebody who is looking like a primary school or at best a junior secondary school student, more so that we have been telling everybody about the issue of female teenage suicide bombers, I think it should call for attention of the law enforcement agents.
Meanwhile, the federal government has put the death toll from the bomb attack in Potiskum, Yobe State, at 11. Coordinator of the National Information Center, Mike Omeri, says the bombers threw improvised explosives at a mosque located near a market square. And Chibok community leaders have admitted that the presidency doled out money to parents of the abducted schoolgirls and some of the girls that escaped from sergeants. Representatives of the community said at a press briefing in Abuja that the money was delivered at midnight by a presidential aide. They, however, insist that none of the community leaders benefited from the government largesse.
We therefore make public our findings regarding these allegations as follows. 1. On the night of the 22nd of July 2014, at about midnight, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Special Duties, who had been coordinating the visit on the side of the presidency, visited the hotel and told the 51 escaped girls who came that the presidency sent them a token of 100,000 naira each, and accordingly gave them the said money without even a prior discussion or knowledge of the cadre officials or any other person in the community that were around the vicinity of the hotel. Number 2, the Senior Special Assistant equally gave the sum of 200,000 naira each to 61 parents out of the 122 that came on the visit. 51 parents were given 100,000 naira each on the basis that the money given to him was not enough to go around at the agreed amount of 200,000. The remaining 10 parents were not given any money at all. You can do the maths. As for the money given to some parents back home in Chibok, which is also in the media and public domain, it was the sum of 1 million naira that was given in cash by the honorable member of the House of Representatives representing Chibok, Damboa, Goza, actually federal constituency, which is the source of the alleged 7,000 naira given to parents back home in Chibok, which is also tearing them apart, unfortunately.
The federal government says it will host a dinner to raise funds for victims of terror attacks in the country. This was one of the decisions taken at the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. Briefing newsmen after the meeting, Information Minister Labaran Marco said the dinner slated for Thursday is one of a series of fundraising initiatives for Boko Haram victims.
To the Government of Federation Brief Council on preparations for the launching tomorrow, for the fundraising tomorrow to raise funds for the Victims of Terrorism Foundation, which was earlier floated by Mr. President. The SGF informed us that tomorrow the President will host a fundraising dinner here at the Presidential Banquet Hall for the private sector, for international foundations and funding agencies, as well as for all Nigerians to contribute to the fund, which is specifically floated to support victims of terrorism in our country. Mr. President himself told us in council that this launch is so significant, and he urged all Nigerians, particularly citizens who are in business, who have the opportunity to make contribution, to do something for our less fortunate citizens who have fallen victim to terror. What is significant about this foundation is that the funding will be managed independently of government. Government is not going to be the one to manage the funds that are raised, but the committee will be providing funding based on a mechanism that will track those who have been affected by terror and will provide support for them.
Nigeria has formally launched a new 64-page e-passport. The new traveling document is meant for frequent travelers and would be used side by side with the current 32-page passport.
Nigeria was the first country in Africa to introduce the e-passport in 2007. Now it has gone a step further with a 64-page e-passport 7 years later. The new traveling document will take effect from August 1st, but President Jonathan and his deputy Namadi Sambo had the honor of getting theirs first. Interior Minister explains why Nigeria had to introduce another passport booklet.
What we're about launching today, the 64-page e-passport for Nigerians and frequent travelers, was the fallout of an innocuous discussion that I had with you in your office, on which occasion, Your Excellency, you bemoaned the obstacles that frequent travelers face, especially our businessmen, who are the vanguard of attracting foreign and national direct investment into Nigeria, by the small number of pages of the current 32-page e-passport.
For his part, President Jonathan wants the Immigration Service to make the passport foolproof. He's also demanding that Nigerians avoid acts that will tarnish the country's image.
One thing one must know today is not the issue of a 64-page e-passport that is key to Nigerians, but the security of our passport. If our passport could be easily fixed by criminals, then we have problems. One thing again is that how can Nigerians get passports easily, especially Nigerians living outside this country? Because wherever I travel to, there is this complaint of how they get the Nigerian passport. Not necessarily this is the 4-page passport, but how do they get transport? So the ministry must look into this.
And speaking later at a press briefing, the Comptroller General of the Immigration Service revealed that the new document has more security features. He also gives an insight into the passport fees and what qualifies a Nigerian for the 64-page passport.
We want people who have served this country very well and have reached the golden age of 60 to pay the same price for passports. There will be no change in their price for the standard passport. That is the 32-page. Then people from the age of 18 and 1 hour or 1 minute, if we know, to the age of 60 on the dot, they will pay more. They will pay 15,000 for the regular 32-page passport. But the 64-page is a special demand-driven passport that will attract a different fee of 20,000. The 64-page is addressed to people who are frequent travelers. If you come to us, we have internal procedures that we will check. We will ask you, can we see your last 2 passports? If the first one was 2007, and you are next, and we have many pages that are unused there, and your next one is 2012, which is a 5-year, and you have not gone 1 page on that one, then we will advise you politely that it's good you retain the 32.
The new passport is to be used alongside the standard one and, according to the authorities, will be issued within 72 hours of application.
A governor of Adamawa State, Murtala Nyako, has described the plan to probe his administration as ridiculous. Join us for details of that story and more after this break.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station. You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Nigerians continue to travel the city of Lagos.
There is still a poor level of
Be the first to know. From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa, we break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV,
a 24-hour news station.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as weak, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
only on CoreTV News.
Back. Former Governor of Adamawa State, Murtala Nyako, was described the plan by the acting governor of the state to probe his administration as ridiculous. The acting governor, Hamadu Fintiri, in a statewide broadcast, has announced that Nyako's administration, which he accused of leaving 82 billion naira liability, would be probed. In a statement issued in Yola, Nyako's director of press and publicity, Ahmad Sajo, said the planned probe is an attempt to discredit the former governor and pitch him against the people of Adamawa. Sajo said the probe would not be fair, adding that Nyako is already in court challenging his impeachment and is full of hope that the judiciary will vindicate him. The Nasarawa State House of Assembly has directed the state's Chief Judge, Sulaiman Diko, to dissolve a 7-man panel he set up to investigate allegations against the state governor, Tanko Amakure. The chairman of the House Committee on Information and Security, Babai Bako, disclosed this in the state capital. Ibaku said the lawmakers took the decision because members of the panel were loyalists of the All Progressives Congress in the state. He said the directive is against the provision of the Section 188 of the 1999 Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Ibaku said he's said this amidst tension in the state as youths burned a car belonging to a member of the State House of Assembly representing Nasarawa Egan East in the Akuruba area of the state, Ibrahim Muluku. The youths were said to be protesting the lawmakers' directive that the chief judge should dissolve the panel setup to investigate allegations of gross misconduct and abuse of oath of office against the governor. Nasarawa State Police Public Relations Officer Umaru Smila confirmed the incident. The Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Ado-Ekiti on the conduct of the June 21 governorship election in Ekiti State has granted the request of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to inspect materials used for the election. Rashid was there at Fountain this report.
The strike embarked upon by members of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria may have put courts under lock and key, but the tribunal headed by Justice Muhammad Surajo had the application brought before it by the People's Democratic Party. The court granted the leave of the party on inspection of materials used during the election as earlier requested by the All Progressives Congress.
The government of our application today is that the Honorable Tribunal grant us leave to inspect electoral materials used during the June 21 election. In view of the serious allegations made by the petitioner, that is the APC, in their petition, saying that some of the electoral materials, particularly the ballot paper, that the ballot paper was predetermined or programmed.
The court, in listening to the applications brought by the PDP, however, declined its third prayer on the ground that it was not necessary, but approved the 3 others.
The prayer number 3 that was not granted, we were seeking for an order that the Honorable Tribunal should direct that security agencies should be present while we are inspecting. It is the duty of INEC to provide security that they will provide it, that we don't need an order of court for that.
Though the petitioner was not represented by any counsel, this, however, did not stop the panel, which has Justice Isa Gatsa and Chiboke Auchachagu as members, in calling the attention of the respondent to a typographical error in the application filed and the submission of affidavits without the name of the counsel to the respondent. But this altogether did not stop the granting of the application by the respondents.
Any other party that is interested in inspecting should also be allowed. We should be allowed to make certified true copies or to scan the materials used and all that.
With the tribunal granting the request of the PDP and the APC for inspection of ballot materials for verification, the stage is now set for the tribunal to begin hearing of the substantive petition. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
While Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi has signed into law the bill to create additional local council development areas from the existing 16 local government areas in the state, Rashid was at the executive and legislative signing ceremony and brought back this report.
Since the proposal of the creation of local council development areas in Ekiti in January, the move has attracted both positive and negative reactions. With the presentation of the report of the Committee on Referendum having been passed by the State House of Assembly, Speaker Adewale Omirin says the House is addressing the wishes of Ekiti people with the bill.
Members of the House of Assembly were guided by the 8-point agenda, especially the declaration in the 8-point agenda for participatory governance, which implementation gives rights to demands by the people from one local government to enhance development in local communities where most of our people live.
The Governor, Kayode Fayemi, while speaking, thanked all concerned stakeholders for their contribution to the whole process. Fayemi says the creation of local councils is for the benefit of all.
I want to seize this opportunity to commend and congratulate the representatives of our people for the enormous work put into completing this assignment, for their considerable conflict management skills, and for their commitment to ensuring that this cardinal objective of our government is fulfilled.
Drawing from the report of the Asset Sharing Committee, which had come up with a formula to ensure the smooth takeoff of all local council development areas, the governor ordered for the immediate takeoff of the local councils with the immediate release of takeoff grants and other administrative logistics.
All of the new local government areas will come into immediate effect in all the areas affected, following the necessary sharing of the assets and the necessary implementation of administrative responsibility.
With the signing of the Local Council Creation Bill into law, Ekiti now has 35 local government areas. The signing into law created 19 new local councils with the former 16, but this may not be the end of the matter, as the PDP kicks against the move with a case still before the courts. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
Nigerians have been advised to resist the spread of Ebola virus by complying with health standards prescribed by medical experts. A medical doctor Adeyeye Arigbabuwo says there is need for increased public sensitization on the disease and commitment from the government by investing more in providing solution to the outbreak.
Just create an enabling environment for them, motivate them, spin them, kickstart the engine. You see the way we move as a nation. So that's all this one, we put on gloves, fighting each other, boxing, blacklisting, challenging, killing, bombing, all of these, we're doing social restiveness. And let me tell you, all these social hazards that we're having around us, they are enough to cause distraction. But we should begin to look at fundamental things. Health is wealth. If we're not healthy, we're not worthy.
You're not getting me.
And in the Lagos state government on the speedy approach to sensitizing Nigerians, a public affairs analyst Achike Chud says Nigerians should quit making fun of the issue and take the health seriously.
Going on in the country. People have been told what to do, how to do it, how to react, to this particular, disease. And that is what I expect. The issue of people now wearing helmets and hand gloves and so on the internet and so on, I want to believe that they are trivializing the situation. It's much more serious than that. So I would expect that people, first of all those don'ts that they have told, Nigerians, not to, all those things they've told them not to do, like, staying away from bushmeat, which is a carrier of this virus. I think they should do their best to ensure that they avoid such, delicacies at this particular point in time until this particular virus, this particular epidemic blows out.
Now, fears that the West African Ebola outbreak could spread to other continents has increased, with European and Asian countries on alert. A leading medical charity has warned that the epidemic is out of control. Doctors Without Borders said the crisis gripping Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone would only get worse and warned that there is no strategy to handle the world's worst ever outbreak of the disease. Meanwhile, the man who discovered the Ebola virus in 1976, Peter Piot, says the current epidemic sweeping across West Africa is a result of political instability and panic from politicians. Peter is the director of the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine.
Countries are coming out of decades of civil war. Liberia and Sierra Leone are now trying to reconstruct themselves. And so there is a total lack of trust in authorities and all that. And that combined with poverty and very poor health services, I think is the explanation why we have this extensive outbreak now. I think fear is a really major driving force of this epidemic. Fear of the virus and lack of trust in authorities and health services. That combination is really bad. Spreading in the, let's say, in the population here, I'm not that worried about it. I wouldn't be worried to sit next to someone with Ebola virus on the tube, as long as they don't vomit on you. In every culture, out of respect for the death, the body is washed, it's cleaned and so on. But if you do that with someone with Ebola, that's a very, very risky business. There are a couple of experimental vaccines which have been developed. And which turned out to protect in animal experiments. And also there are some treatments that may work based on studies in animals.
In case you have an ATM card, and I guess you do, it might be prone to hacking by July 2015. And we'll have details of that story and more on business with Sabina Izoko coming up shortly after this break.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station.
CoreTV News presents a platform with presence in over 30 states of the Federation. Be sure to be had. For live coverage of events, we have the capacity to deliver from anywhere in Nigeria and beyond. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733, 014-533-407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Welcome there. And hello there, and welcome to the world of business with me, Sabena Izoku. Over 25 million Nigerian payment cards will be prone to hacking from July 2015 when Microsoft Corporation will end its support for the Windows Server 2003 and Windows Server 2003 R2 software. Microsoft officials say the decision to end support for both software is part of the corporation's normal product support lifecycle policies. Most of the automated teller machines in the country and other parts of the world run Microsoft. However, a greater percentage of the ATMs of Nigerian banks run on the Windows Server 2003 and Windows Server 2003 R2. From the Central Bank of Nigeria, records released last month, deposit money banks in the country lost 40 billion naira to online frauds in 2013 alone. According to experts, Microsoft's decision will mean the end of updates and patches for combating security issues on the ATMs, as well as loss of compliance and regulatory certification by the banks. It will also mean the end for support on applications and programs for organizations, data centers, and servers running the operating system after July 2015. The Central Bank of Nigeria's latest statistic has indicated that the deposit money bank's total loans and advances to the domestic economy hit 10 trillion naira as of March 2014. The CBN's quarterly statistical bulletin obtained also revealed that the DNB's credit to the private sector has increased by 118 billion naira to 11.08 trillion naira. The report further showed that at 4.996 trillion naira, domestic investments of the DBMs amounted to 45.3 billion naira, higher than the level recorded a month earlier. According to the CBN data, sectorial distribution of total credit extended to the private sector by the DNBs in the review month stood at 10.383 trillion naira. This, the report said, reflected an increase of 1.1% when compared with the level recorded in the preceding month. Furthermore, analysis revealed that the preferred sectors had 36.9% of the total credit, while less preferred sectors got 42.1% and others received 21%. Africa's largest economy needs at least $20 billion to finance its huge infrastructure deficit. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala says at the House of Representatives that the wage bill for the public servants has more than doubled from 857 billion naira in 2009 to 1.8 trillion naira per annum by 2014. This brought the projection for recurrent spending in 2014 to 52% of the total budget of 4.64 trillion naira, while capital expenditure is equivalent to 24%, with debt service and statutory transfers making up the rest. Analysts say the solution in the medium term is to transform revenue collections to boost government spending on infrastructure. Nigeria's tax revenue to gross domestic product fell to 12% after rebasing exercise, which is one of the lowest in Africa as well as for a country of its economic size. The United States economy rebounded vigorously in the second quarter, growing at 4% pace that erased the impact of sharp winter contractions, the Commerce Department reported on Wednesday. The initial estimate of second quarter growth was far better than what most analysts had expected and showed solid rebound in private investment and consumer spending, especially on durable goods like cars and appliances. In addition, the government spending, which dragged on gross domestic product for the last 6 quarters, added to expansion. This is a sign that the world's largest economy is stronger than earlier thought.
Today, our businesses have added nearly 10 million new jobs over the past 52 months. Construction is up. Manufacturing is back. Our energy, our technology, our auto industries, they're all booming. The unemployment rate is at its lowest point since September of 2008. It's dropped faster than any time in 30 years. This morning we found out that in the second quarter of this year, our economy grew at a strong pace, and businesses are investing. Workers are building new homes. Consumers are spending. America's exporting goods around the world. So the decisions that we made to rescue our economy, to rescue the auto industry, to rebuild the economy on a new foundation, to invest in research and infrastructure, education, all those things are starting to pay off.
Now, Naira closed unchanged against the dollar at the interbank market on Wednesday after a two-day public holiday to mark the Muslim festival, Ramadan, supported by the dollar sale by two major energy companies. The Naira closed at 161.85 to a dollar, at the same level it closed at on Friday before the holiday. A unit of Royal Dutch Shell sold an undisclosed amount of dollars to some lenders, while the ENI sold $5 million. Month-end dollar sale by some energy companies have continued to provide support for the local currencies in the last 2 weeks, keeping it within the band of 161 naira 50 kobo to 162 naira against the dollar. The naira is seen stable around the present band in the near term, with more dollars expected from some energy companies. And on the stock market, after 2 days Muslim festival, the equity transaction on the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The Nigerian Stock Exchange All Shares Index appreciated by 82.17 points to close higher at 42,369.02 basis points. Market capitalization increased 0.20% to close higher at 13.9990 trillion naira. In all, a total of 714 million shares, valued at 6.73 billion naira, were exchanged in 5,830 deals. Report shows that Owando PLC topped the gainers chart, followed by Dangote Cement PLC, Stanbic IBTC PLC, Babco PLC, and Nigerian Brewers PLC. On the other hand, Seplat PLC led the losers chart, followed by 40 Oil PLC, Total PLC, GlaxoSmithKline PLC, and Cap PLC. Meanwhile, here are the top 5 trades. And that's it on business news. Coming up next is sport news with Brownson Uwana. Please stay with us.
Nigerians continue to travel
the city of Lagos went dark as all routes.
Be the first to know from the north, south, east, west and around Africa. We break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV.
A 24-hour news station.
A very big thanks for joining us on Sport News tonight. I am Brownson Uwana. The Nigerian Football Federation has changed the venue of the African Under-17 Championship second leg qualifying tie between the Golden Eaglets and Les Leopards of Democratic Republic of Congo from Calabar to Abeokuta. The NFF decided to move the Eaglets to Abeokuta from their usual home ground, Calabar, because of the ongoing work on the UJ Sweeney Stadium, which won't be completed before the second leg, slated for August 1st to 3rd, 2014. The Golden Eaglet arrived the country after beating Congo 1-0 over the weekend on Monday and have since resumed training ahead of the return leg in Nigeria. Sharks captain Odingo has thrown his support behind neighbours Dolphins of Port Harcourt to reach the finals of the ongoing 2014 Federation Cup. Dolphins are currently at the semi-final stage of the annual football competition and will keep dates with National League side Prime FC of Oshogbo at the FIFA Goal Project football pitch on Thursday in Abuja. In the other fixtures, Enyimba International takes on Giwa FC at the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abeokuta. The winner of the two semi-final games will meet in the yet-to-be-named venue of the 2014 finals. And now to some sad story. FIFA Vice President and head of the Argentina Football Association, Julio Humberto Grondona, has passed away aged 82. After being admitted in the hospital with heart problem on Wednesday morning, Grondona's condition deteriorated rapidly in the following hours and he was ultimately unable to overcome the fight with his ill health. He had been in charge of the Argentina FA for 35 years and was responsible for the construction of Ezeiza's training complex where the national side are based now. Grondona has also combined those responsibilities with his position as vice president of FIFA and was the founder and chairman of Arsenal de Sandrandi, who played their football in Argentina's Premier Division. And now to some Formula One story. Lawyers of Benny Ecclestone says the Formula One boss is ready to pay a German bank 25 million euros to settle a court case against him. The 83-year-old went on trial in Munich in April, charged with bribery and incitement to breach of trust. He is accused of paying a German bank 33 million euros to ensure a company he favored could buy a stake in the Formula One. If found guilty, the F1 boss could face 10-year jail term and end of his decade-long dominance in motor racing. Finally, on Sport News tonight, to the world of tennis, where German Sabine Lisky hit the fastest record serves in the history of women's tennis at 131 mph during a first-round loss in Stamford, USA. The 2013 Wimbledon finalists hit the serves in the 11th game of the first set against Ana Ivanovic, who would go on to win the match 7-6, 7-2, 6-1. Venus Williams had set the previous record of 129 mph at the 2007 US Open. That's a wrap on Sport News tonight. Nifemi Oguntoye is standing by for foreign news. Stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Nigerians continue to travel the city of Lagos once again as all
to you on
Be the first to know
CoreTV News
from the north, south, east, west, and around Africa. We break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV.
A 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. We apologize for the poor audio quality earlier. We'll kickstart stories outside Nigeria in Gaza, where they had ventured out in their hundreds to stock up on provisions during an exceptional calm in the fighting and were crowded into Shejaya Market when the explosions hit. Moments later, there were scenes of utter carnage with bodies strewn across the street and blood everywhere. Some said it was an airstrike, others said it was a tank fire. 17 people were killed and more than 200 wounded, as the Israeli army said it was observing a 4-hour humanitarian ceasefire. Ambulances raced towards the site of the blast as medics and residents tried to gather up the dead bodies. Even civilian cars were used to evacuate the dead and the wounded. Earlier, 16 people were killed when 2 Israeli tank shells slammed into a United Nations school in Jabalia refugee camp in the north, in an attack angrily denounced by the UN chief and the World Bodies Agency for Palestinian Refugees. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is in India for ice-breaking talks with new Prime Minister Narendra Modi, forecasting a transformation in Washington's troubled relations with New Delhi. Kerry, who landed in Delhi on an overnight flight from Washington, is the highest-ranking member of the Obama administration to visit India since the Hindu nationalist Modi won a landslide election in May. The top diplomat's trip is intended to pave the way for a visit by Modi to the United States later this year, nearly a decade after he was denied a visa over deadly anti-Muslim riots. For the past 2 decades, the world's 2 largest democracies have described themselves as natural allies, sharing similar concerns over China's rise and Islamic extremism. But incidents including the U.S. arrest of an Indian diplomat last year sent ties plunging to their lowest point in years, and analysts say Modi's previous treatment as a pariah still rankles. Well, to end CoreTV primetime news, let's take a look at some other top stories. We told you earlier that bloodbath in Kano as female bomber suicide strike leaves 6 people dead at the State Polytechnic. And federal government has confirmed 11 dead in Potiskum bombed mosques attack. And that's it on CoreTV Primetime News tonight. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. On behalf of everyone here, I was saying thank you for watching.